Teachers who come to this school don't last more than 3 days. Today, another teacher tries to escape. Before taking her last breath, she warns the others. Only a complete madman would sign up for this job. If you value your sanity, run for the hills. Who's behind all this chaos? A bunch of kids who make the Joker look like a saint. They superglue the chalk so the teacher has to wash her hands, only to get blasted by booby-trapped faucets. After finally managing to turn off the water, the teacher grabs a towel to dry off, but instead of cleaning up, her face ends up smeared with black streaks. Losing her mind, she tries to open the door to leave, but her hand lands on something squishy. Is this poop? The result? Teachers with nerves of steel cry themselves to sleep for 3 days. Those less resilient? Let's just say they're updating their resumes in the afterlife. The principal, obsessed with performance metrics, refuses to expel the students. Instead, teachers are swapped out like disposable parts. None survive 3 days. That is, until a man named Ziki shows up. Ziki isn't like the other teachers. He lets students watch movies during class and hits the club after work. When a student blocks the door, Ziki kicks him without hesitation. The delinquents have finally met their match. A teacher who's also a criminal. Zeki's past? He served time for robbery and just got out of prison. His plan? Retrieve the money he buried before his arrest and live the high life. But there's a catch. His idiot accomplice buried the loot under the school gym, claiming it was the safest spot. To dig it up, Ziki applies for a janitor position. The principal, however, has other plans. We don't need janitors. We need teachers. What's your degree? What's a degree? High school? I dropped out in elementary school. Perfect. We need someone like you. Can you take a beating? Let's just say I've handled prison bosses. Great. You start tomorrow. An elementary school dropout and ex-con becomes a teacher. By day, he's molding young minds. By night, he's tunneling for his buried cash. Class, it's self-study time again. Ziki's unconventional methods catch the attention of Lise, the teacher next door. Would you switch classes with me? She asks. What do you mean? My class suits your style. Turns out, Lisa's class is the school's most notorious. In just 6 months, they've gone through 25 teachers, 1 per week. Reluctantly, Ziki agrees. After all, his tunnel won't be ready for another month. The principal is shocked. You're switching? That class is clingy, Ziki smirks. How clingy are we talking? And how clingy are we talking here? You have no idea what real gangsters are like? Ever heard of the Black Hand? Now Ziki is completely furious. It's time to show these little punks what violent teaching really looks like. Ziki shows up to class with a paintball gun slung over his shoulder. Where is everyone? They skipped. Ziki pulls out his paintball gun and stands on the second floor, scanning the courtyard like a sniper. This time, the students actually behave. You little gremlins better stay in line. Now, back to self-study. But Liz isn't impressed. How can you scare them like that? They're just kids. You've made the girls cry with your yelling. I'm talking to you.
Yeah?
And wipe those tears now. Late at night, Zeki is busy digging for his buried treasure when his phone rings. It's the gang boss. Get out, the boss growls. With nowhere else to go, Zeki turns to the only person he can think of, Ms. Liss. Her welcome, however, is anything but ordinary. How'd you get in? Climb the wall. Why not use the door? Old habits. Despite his unconventional entry, Liss agrees to let him stay, on one condition: he helps her students improve their grades. To better understand the kids, Ziki pulls out their files. What he discovers surprises him. These students aren't as hopeless as he thought. This class has driven away 25 teachers, but each student has a dream. Paco wants to be a movie recaps. Chantal dreams of living off welfare. To bridge the gap, Lise invites Ziki to be her swimming assistant. As usual, students fake illnesses, periods, even pregnancy to skip class. One jumps in without swim trunks. Then, Ziki shows up. Put that cigarette out. Ziki quickly figures out why they hate swimming. The teachers don't lead by example. Under Ziki's guidance, the students start to enjoy the pool. He even teaches them breath-holding techniques. I'm telling my mom, Liz gives him the side eye. Ziki, You're supposed to teach them, not audition for a role in a prison drama. This teacher is ruthless. He actually made the school bully cry. Liz, helpless, has to apologize to the parents on Ziki's behalf. The parents demand to speak directly with the problematic teacher. Ziki picks up the phone. Yeah, this is Ziki. Thank you, teacher. Every time I see my son, I get so angry. He doesn't even look like me. All my relatives say he looks like our neighbor. I've wanted to beat him up for ages. You did a great job. Next time, beat him to death, that little brat. Seeing how much the parents appreciate Ziki, Lise finally feels relieved. At night, Ziki continues digging for treasure in the basement, but he accidentally uncovers a time capsule. Excited, he opens it and finds out it was buried by a young Lise. Back then, Lise was full of hope for the world. She had written a wish. I want to become a teacher, so no child has to suffer like I did. What a kind-hearted girl, Ziki thinks, reminiscing about his own childhood. He used to be a cheerful boy, but his homeroom teacher was a jerk. When money went missing in class, the teacher blamed Ziki, pushing him down a path of no return. In this school, even a former robber can become a teacher. Ziki starts to think, these kids are actually kind of cute. I've already gone down the wrong path, but I can't let them follow in my footsteps. The next day, Ziki decides to guide the students toward a better future. You want to be a movie recap? You want to live off welfare? Fine. Ziki organizes a field trip, taking them to see what life is like for people who rely on welfare. Look at them. They can only sit around, eat, and wait to die. Then, Ziki shows Paco the harsh reality of being a movie recap. Look at how competitive this industry is. They're practically starving. The students' dreams are shattered. They finally realize that only through education can they face the uncertainties of the future. Ziki encourages the top student to keep studying hard, warning her, if you don't, you'll end up like those girls downstairs, resorting to robbery just to get by. He also encourages a student with a talent for acting to pursue theater. From then on, Ziki's students become more motivated. They start to love learning and become curious about the world. Meanwhile, Ziki and Lise grow closer. Of course, every night, Ziki still sneaks into the gym to dig for his treasure, getting closer and closer to his goal. The school's most popular teacher rankings are out. Surprisingly, the most popular male teacher is Ziki, the former robber. The most popular female teacher is Lisa's best friend, Caro. Liz is heartbroken. She doesn't understand why, despite all her hard work over the years, she's still invisible at school. To make matters worse, the principal is coming to observe her class. If she doesn't perform well, she'll be fired. Class 10 is full of little tyrants. I'm doomed, Liz thinks. To help her, Ziki joins Lise for an outdoor class, using graffiti to connect with the students. Ziki, isn't this illegal? Relax, it's fine. Hey, what are you little brats doing over there? The bond between the teachers and students grows stronger, and so does the relationship between Ziki and Lise. When the principal comes to observe the class, the students actively participate, impressing everyone. At night, Ziki continues digging. This time, he finally hits something. Ziki finally uncovers his treasure at the school. According to his original plan, he would leave the school and live a life of luxury. But just as he's about to celebrate, a chubby girl training in the gym accidentally steps on the weakened floor and falls halfway into the hole. The scene is awkward. Zeki, why did you dig such a long tunnel? Are you rehearsing for a war movie? Zeki admits everything to Liz. I'm a thief. I've been to prison. I only came here to dig up my treasure.
Aber ich hatte Schiss.
Liz's world is shattered. A professional thief had been using her just to get his money. The next day, Ziki disappears from the school. As for the hole, the students take the blame, claiming they dug it to practice for a future war. A few days later, Liz receives a letter from Zeki. In it, he sincerely apologizes and explains that he's leaving the school to give his teaching position to her. He also decides to use his treasure to fund the school's construction. Don't worry about me, Ziki writes. I've already found a new job. Ziki, the former teacher, is now planning to rob a bank. Bro, when are we doing this? Just as they're about to strike, a student spots Ziki. Teacher Ziki, what are you doing? I'm cosplaying. Can you come back to teach us? Probably not. Like a graffiti-covered train, I can't go back. The irony hits hard. Without hesitation, Ziki ditches his gang and runs back to the school.
Ey, es ist rot.
He finds Liz, and the two reconcile. Eventually, they become a couple. At the school's graduation dance, the principal catches them. Ziki, you can't leave. The midterm results are out and your class's grades have skyrocketed. But I dropped out of elementary school. No problem. With a wave of her hand, the principal declares that Ziki will graduate as a student and immediately start working as a full-time teacher. Finally, Ziki becomes a real teacher, completing his transformation from criminal to educator. Under his guidance, the once delinquent students step into a brighter future. This film is called Me Shakespeer, a 2013 German comedy. While the plot might seem a bit cliché, it's packed with laughs and heartwarming moments. The male lead is also incredibly handsome. I highly recommend watching the original movie. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.